Hi guys, it's Brigitte. I'm finally doing my, well, not really tutorial, but my take. It's a mini tutorial on all the rosettes that I've made, and also my findings on the different dyes versus the handmade, which I do have a video of my handmade ones versus the original rosettes dye that Tim Holtz came out with. And I had told you guys that I much prefer the handmade ones because they don't leave the perforations in the paper, which sometimes lead to tearing when you're assembling them. So anyway, I'm going to just talk a little bit about the handmade ones, and a very dear friend of mine who comments on my videos, and we've actually become friends, wanted to send me these dies when she saw my video. So thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I do love these. These are awesome, from my favorite things. They're as close as you can get to the handmade, and they crease it just enough without tearing, ripping, or perforating the papers. So what you do with the handmade ones, I'll just briefly show you. And all the paper I used is from the K & Company Americana stack, which is so beautiful. What you want to do is you want to cut a piece of paper that's about 1.5. Now, obviously, you can make them any sizes. I think I tried to go above 1.5, and I wound up like ripping down the line when I went to assemble it. So 1.5 is like the safest, up to 1.5 maximum. 1.5 by 12, and then I put it on my scoreboard, and I scored every 1/4 inch, and I wound up with that. And let's just see if you can see the score lines. Now, what you want to do is, this is the way that I do it. You just want to start folding. I'm sorry, this is probably going to be really long and maybe a little bit boring, so you could like fast forward this part. And I know for sure that my Mac has, you know, built-in software for this kind of stuff, but I just haven't had like a day where I can sit down and teach myself yet. So anyway, that went a lot faster than I thought. I use a glue gun for all of my adhering, with the exception of the two ends. The glue gun is the best for me. A lot of people use other things, but the glue gun works for me. So then you're going to wind up with two ends that you don't want glued together like this. So I cut one of the ends off. And there are, the original girl who I watched the video, I don't remember, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but there are tutorials out there. So now you have a mountain and a valley, and then I'm going to glue them together like that. And this is the only time where I actually use this for it. I don't use glossy accents. It's a preference, so, oops. And Pocono Pam, if you're watching, I took off my nail polish just for you. I was going to anyway, but my nails were terribly embarrassing, so when I do a tutorial or a video, I always make sure they look halfway decent. But I know that you told us to make sure we do that, so there we go. Oops. Shoot. Normally I have a tissue lying around, but anyway. So then you wind up with this. I hope that this is coming out. And what I do is, before I put the circle in the glue gun, I just kind of mash it down once so that I get a feel for it. And I think I just cut any circle. Usually it's coordinating, but the red coordinates anyway, so I just wouldn't put anything just plain, but that's me. If I were making white flowers, I'd use a white punch out, but anyway, scraps, perfect, because generally you're going to stick it somewhere and no one's going to see it. So I'm going to take my glue gun. My glue gun has been leaking. And as quickly as possible. So I am in the market for a new glue gun, and I think I'm going to buy one of the ones that are pointed at the tip. Although I'm going to go through all my glue sticks that I bought for this glue gun. So I don't know what happened, but every time I turn it on and it heats up, it like leaks a bunch of the glue. And then I just really make sure that it's all done. Okay, oops. Well, that part's going to get covered up anyway, so. Okay, so then you wind up like this, and it depends on the paper. With this, I'll probably put a blue or white button with some twine. Or I might put a star in the middle. I don't know. I'm just showing you the basics and you guys can run wild with it. So that's the handmade one. And it's really my favorite because you have total control. See a little bit of a tear there. But I might have been like overzealous with the scorer. So that's that. And this is going to be a long video. I apologize, guys. Now, with the my favorite things, it's just a tiny bit more effort. I think I cut the paper at 1 3/4 just to give me a little bit of leverage here. And what happens when you cut it, you have to cut it twice. And it gives you these. This, by the way, if they sell it just by the sheet out of the paper stack, I would buy like 10 sheets of it, because this is my favorite one in the bunch. And you wind up with 2 of these. Now, I find with the 12 by 12 paper, unless you want to cut not one strip, but like, you know, more of your paper, it's not a full 12-inch piece. But that doesn't matter because you're going to wind up cutting a piece off here. And I always cut the shortest little one. See, I'll show you. I think it's, yeah. See how little that is? That's not a 1/4 inch for sure. So I'm going to cut that off anyway, and then you'll have even pleats. I don't know why, but, and I do put the paper on like the most like possible edge, and it still cuts short a 12 by 12 piece or a 1 3/4 by 12 piece. So anyway, the process is the same. Now, this is the closest to hand scoring this die I found. And the dies are awesome. I love these 2 dies. And the only difference is that one just makes a larger pleat than the other. So if you don't want to watch this, you can fast forward because it's basically the same thing as the handmade one. Oops. And in fact, I would actually use like a shim because it is a little bit, it depends on the die. I guess my Big Shot maybe has seen better days. And okay. And the next one I'm going to show you is the Tim Holtz one again. Now, I can't say enough about how much I'm obsessed with Tim Holtz products. I love him. I think he's very super awesome, creative, and innovative, but I do prefer handmade over this die. I'm sorry to say it. I have every single die he's made, so I'm not like saying anything but what I found when I made the comparisons. I love all of his products, and I will buy every single one of his products. So Please don't send me hate mail. Just kidding. But that said, I'll talk about that die in a second. So that was that. And then since I cut that edge off, I don't have to worry about, oh, look at that. Okay, I'm going to cut another piece off and see what happens. Okay. I don't really think it matters anyway how much of it you cut off, because I think it just makes the flower maybe smaller, but we'll find out. Because I've never cut two pieces off, so. And then with this die, I'm going to use, again, just a punch out, because the Rosette die does punch this out, which I've seen you guys stick to the top, which I guess I never thought. I always thought this was the one they gave you for the bottom of the Rosette. But that's like a duh moment for me when I saw that. I was like, oh, I'm sticking these on the bottom. Okay, so same thing. I just kind of squeeze it down just to see. It looks good. Everything looks good. And I don't know, you guys, I'm overly generous with my glue. I always am. Oh, I love this particular paper. It's so cute. See, and sometimes on the bottom I make it crooked, but the beauty is you're not going to see the bottom, so that's that. And I love it. So compared to my handmade one, it's pretty much the same. The folds are really nice, and the size is the same. And you see the largest Tim Holtz one is this big, which is cool because if you have the die, you can just have fun and layer them all, but they are substantially smaller. So that's that. So these are my favorite things. This is the larger one of the dies. Okay, and just last but not least, so I already made my disclaimer. You know I love him. Hi, Tim. Not that he watches, but you never know. So this is what happens when you cut, and I used the original one because he now has this one, which I knew it would be the same thing, but I figured, you know what, for ultra convenience, I'm just going to buy it and play around with it. So I'll show you. See how you can almost see, well, you can see through it. See? So it leaves these perforated marks, and sometimes when you're cutting paper that might be a little bit thicker than this K & Company sheet, it does, like when you're assembling it, just completely rip the perforation. Now, the perforation is nice when you ink it or distress it before you decorate the flower for sure. But like I said, it's my total personal preference, and with the Tim Holtz one, you don't even have to cut the edge. See, I mean, it's so convenient, and it does make a beautiful flower. And it already comes scalloped, which you could cut these, and I've seen people use border punches before they score them, the handmade ones. Okay. So there you go. Now this one, like I said, punches this out. The smaller die punches two of them out. But like I said, I use that for the bottom of my flower to hold it together. And then, oh, this must have been one of the smaller ones. I'm sorry, I didn't cut this from the original, did I? Oh, I did. Okay. How am I doing here? And that's it. Oh, this paper is cute too. You guys have to get this stack. I don't know if there's a regular Americana stack, but this is the specialty stack. I found it at Michael's. Oops. So there you go. And the other two cut out like this. Now you can tell the difference. This is mine. This is the MFT, and this is the Tim Holtz. You can see, I hope that shows. See, you can see through it, which is cool. I mean, it's all literally perfect personal preference, but then you can see the white crease lines. It would be great if you used color core paper, I guess. That would be an added effect. I haven't played around with the coordinations paper with this. But it makes for an adorable flower. So anyway, like I said, my preference will always be handmade. If I'm too lazy, my MFT dies are fabulous and as close as you're going to get to the handmade. And then if you just want super ultra convenient and really pretty with different sizes, Tim Holtz, gotta love this guy. Innovative, creative, and makes the most awesome products. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave comments or questions, and have a great weekend, guys. Be well, be safe. Talk to you soon. Bye.